This is the plaintiff, Samira Payne. She says she and the defendant worked together, and they became fast friends and were intimate with each other. He moved in with her, and when he needed money, she loaned it to him. She finally cut him off because he just kept asking for money, never paid it back. He moved out and now refuses to repay her the $3,000 she loaned him. So she's suing him. This is the defendant, Terrell Kendrick. He says they did what most couples do. They exchanged money back and forth with each other for various things during their relationship. He doesn't know what's triggering this lawsuit from the plaintiff because all this happened 3 years ago. Bottom line, there were never any loans between them. This lawsuit's invalid, and he thinks the judge will agree and side with him today. He's accused of messing with an ex.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff is suing the defendant because she says she loaned him a bunch of money. We've heard this before. And they broke up, and he won't pay, and she's suing. But the defendant says he doesn't know why the plaintiff is bugging him because she never loaned him any money, and he thinks she's just mad they're no longer together. It's the case of messing with an ex.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Ms. Payne, how is it that you meet Mr. Kendrick?
We was working at an alternative high school.
And what happens?
I don't know, we kind of clicked. Like, we just became friends, like fast friends. We had like the same interests. We did the same things.
Did you ever have a relationship with him?
I wouldn't say it was a relationship, like in like the terms of I'm your man, you're my woman relationship. But yeah, we had sex.
Okay. Now, were you dating someone else, and was he dating someone else, or?
Yeah, he was dating someone else. It's a few people.
A few different people. But he never dated you. Whenever you were good enough for the booty call, but you weren't good enough to actually be in the relationship with him, huh?
Well, I don't think it was kind of a booty call. He kind of like moved in, but we weren't like in a relationship.
Well, after he moved out, you continued with him, right?
Oh, yeah.
How often would you see him?
Oh, every day, almost.
How was he able to keep a relationship with one person and see you every day like that?
He wasn't in a relationship with the other girl either. He was like the same.
He just was he? But was he candid about? Look, I'm not going to be exclusive.
Yeah.
Were you always candid about your wants, sir?
Yes, most definitely. I like to be straight
All
up,
right.
just so here it's crossed.
Straight up is straight up then. You know, everybody's entitled to what they want out of life. Except I get the impression, Ms. Payne, from 2017 to, according to you, April of 2018, you loan him a lot of money, right? According to you, it's $3,000. And can you afford to take that kind of hit?
Not really.
According to you, you're a single mom with your own struggles.
Yeah.
So then tell me, if you're a single mom with your own struggles and little humans who are dependent upon you, why is it that for a period of a year, you're giving this man money that you don't have to give him to the tune of $3,000?
It was like he needed stuff.
Well, what kind of stuff? Well, the things you're saying he needed were weed, because you actually have that on your list, that he hit you up for money for weed.
Yeah, because we had an agreement about the weed.
So that's not, I wouldn't say that he needed something, right? A new coat? What else did he ask you for? An Amtrak ticket to where? What was that for?
He has a son in Chicago, and then he had 2 children in Atlanta, so he was going to see his kids.
Can I ask you a question? If he works, why is it that you have to support his weed habit and his paternity obligations?
Because it was like he had a job, and then he lost his job, and then he was in transition to get a job.
During the course of that year, or however many years this went on, did you ever ask him for the money?
Yeah. The money was always like, I'm going to give it back to you when I get back on my feet. So I figured like he worked at the school for a year. Like, it's time for you to pay me back.
So let me ask you a question, though. What did you want from Tyrell?
At first, I was looking for like, I guess like somebody to just be there, like comfort or whatever. I was going through a divorce, so it was like a lot. And that's what he was, like a friend. I could talk to him. We laughed. Like, we just vibed. The whole time, it was that. And then it became a lot because like the crazy girl started acting crazy.
Oh, the crazy girls. Let's talk about that. So you buy him a coat, even though at the time you seem a little miffed that he's with someone else. Because
Yeah,
where the
because
hell
we
is the
had an
bee you
issue.
chose? Because of course it's a woman's job to buy the guy his coat. So I'm just kind of wondering. Let's look at November 16. It's an extra 35. I don't have blank. I get paid tomorrow, baby. I will pay it all back, no matter what, if you have it. Oh, on 2017, November 24th, he asks, what do I owe you total? That sounds really responsible. And you say, I don't know how much was the gas, but it was $285 before the gas. Did he ever end up paying that?
No.
Why would you keep loaning him money if he hadn't paid you back, though?
Because it was always for a good reason. Not okay, minus the weed, but most of it was like he needed to get to see the kids. Like he needed to.
Here's a
Like the
text at the
house
end of
thing.
2017. My whole effing world is disturbed again by you. I haven't been this worked up that I can't sleep. I effing hate you. I wish I never effing met your using blank. On January 27th, we couldn't go out like you planned, but you can go out alone. I don't expect much, and I don't even ask for anything from you, which is really true. Please, Terrell, I'm asking you, just don't sell me any more dreams. I need my money back ASAP. I am not in a place to allow you to keep the money. And he says, that's what be crazy. You be so quick to act off emotion. I had blank going on last night. We were supposed to go yesterday, and I still planned on going, but I will get you your things back. I mean, it's just kind of, it seems pretty much of a one-way street here, and I'm kind of wondering why it is. Are any of your children girls?
I have a bonus daughter. She's a girl. She's my ex-husband's
Bonus?
daughter.
Okay.
Yes, she's my baby.
Would you want her to be in this position that you were in?
No, of course not. I don't want any of my kids in this position.
Right. So why did you do it to yourself? Put a pin in that, let that marinate, and let's hear from Mr. Kendrick. Mr. Kendrick, I have no problem with you deciding that you want to live your life a certain way, you don't want to be monogamous. That is completely within your prerogative. I'd like you to be safe about it. I see some texts where she's saying, why are you out of condoms? But I would like to understand from you, why is it you're always hitting up this woman for money? Especially since there's not a whole lot in it for her. And I can tell from all these texts where she's crying about how she can't get you out of her head that you know that she was falling for you for years. So why do you keep her in this status and continuously take money from her when you know you're hurting her? Because she made it very clear how much you're hurting her.
It was more so too like of a friendship, like it was like back and forth. Of course, we did the things like you said when couples do. That's the thing they do. If I ain't got it right now, I might, borrow it, give it right back, type things like. But it was never to the magnitude.
I never see her asking you for money. So where's the back and forth? It seems really one-sided.
Well, you got the text messages from one side. I'm not the type. I didn't.
No. I've got the text messages. Trust me, she didn't pick and choose. She gave me everything. So why do you think she's suing you now?
I'm not sure. I've been going through a lot these last.
Oh, I think you're sure. Have you been seeing each other?
Not this year because of the whole pandemic thing, but like we became like best. I call him my best friend. Like, and Terrell, no, we've been through a lot with each other, so it's not like this is just out of the blue. It's
Right, but here's where the problem lies, Ms. Payne. I know that you wanted more from him, didn't you?
Yeah, at a point.
Yeah, because I read the text where you're saying, I want a relationship, don't want a relationship, you got to get out of my head, you can't keep doing this to me, and then the next day he's over knocking on your door, and you're letting him in.
Kind of not, because
bad idea. It's a great idea if you don't care. If you care the same way he cares and it doesn't matter, then live your life safely. But if you care, if it's hurting you, if you want more, maybe you shouldn't be in this position where it's one-sided and someone's sucking you dry, and then all of a sudden you don't have it anymore to give, and what happens? Are you seeing him less at that point?
Oh, no. We still saw each other. He's
Are you still having physical, excuse me. When was the last time you guys hung out before you got the lawsuit?
It was probably like a month or a couple of weeks before that. Like I said, I pull up. I don't even need to knock. I just go open the door. I know the kids. I know the family, from the mom to the sister. So it kind of hit me from left field. It's like, wow.
Did she warn you that she was gonna? She did send you a text saying you owe me the money and I really want the money. And then you're like, what? This is out of left field. But did she tell you she was going to sue you?
No, I didn't know exactly what was going on with that. Like I say, for one, that text message just came out the blue. Then,
Do you think you owe her any money, or do you feel like you paid her back anything that you were supposed to pay her back?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Does the defendant owe his ex money? Let's find out.
You know, as far as everything I was supposed to pay back, I believe I did. But as far as just like, you know, knowing she did help a lot. Like I say, I got my own house that I'm.
Who's the woman who just peeked out from the threshold? Who's that woman?
Slow down. What woman you talking about?
I don't know. Somebody just
Somebody
peeked
said-
over through that doorway. Do you feel like you owe her any money, or you feel like anything you were supposed to pay her back, you paid her, and the rest was just her being generous?
And for me, it was like, I feel like she just woke up one day and just got pissed and just said, all right, because even to go back and tally those dates, and then it got to take some.
I didn't go
mental,
back.
you
It
know.
was already in the thing. It was an IOU.
Miss Payne, you're telling me that you have a running tab in your phone of every time you loaned him money. And my question to you would be, the kind of person who does that wants to get paid back. Why didn't you make any effort until 2020 to get paid back?
And Terrell was out of work for a while, so I can't get money from somebody who doesn't have a job. And
Really? But he's got
started
money. If he has money for weed and money to eat, I don't think he's on Skid Row. I think he could pay you back. I think that you should figure out whether you should need a man to treat you better than you needed that man to treat you. It's not that he's mean. It's that it's kind of one-sided, really one-sided, which is fine if it works for you. What upsets me is that I've read these texts and I know it doesn't work for you. You wanted more, he wouldn't give you more, but then you just gave in constantly. And I think that you should have a little more respect for yourself. And if you're gonna do that, it's bad enough that you do that and your emotions and your body are hostage. But your bank account is hostage, and then you come in 2020 and want me to go back 3 years ago to try to figure out what the right sum is that he didn't pay or he did pay, and try to figure out what of that is you buying it, trying to buy him and trying to figure out to get his attention away from whoever else he's given the attention to that's upsetting you. And I'm supposed to come up with a legal debt and say you need to pay her that? I've looked through this so carefully, and I can't because you didn't. You could say you kept a running tally, or you might have just written the tally, I don't know. But not once in those texts do you say, past 2017, hey, your balance is X. The last time you say what the balance was, which would be a very clear indicator of him owing you, was in 2017. So based on that, I don't feel that you've sustained your burden, and I'm ruling in favor of the defendant. But I hope that the lesson in this is that you examine what you feel your worth is, because it's worth a lot more than what you were settling for. Good luck to both of you.
So the plaintiff fails in her bid to make have the judge make the defendant give her $3,000. It didn't work. Ms. Payne, let me ask you, what are you thinking about what the judge just had to say to you? And she had a lot to say.
He know he owed it, and he know he never gave me any money back at all.
And by the way, if he came by tonight and knocked on your door, would you let him in? Would you let him back in?
Oh yeah, Terrell is my friend. Like that, the money and the situation was that's different. But Terrell is my best friend. Like we have a different relationship. It has nothing to do with money. I mean, what was 2017. This is like, no, we're friends. Like he said, he's like family.
Okay, well, that's the judge's decision. Mr. Kendrick, let me ask you, how do you respond? I'm sure you feel pretty good about what the judge said, don't you?
To a certain extent, but like I say, that is still my friend. So, I still want to kind of come to some kind of resolve. Like I say, she is a beautiful person, beautiful friend. So, just try to come to some kind of resolve, and just get everything back in motion.
All right, sir. Well, that's it. So you prevailed today. Good for you. Now, it's time for another session of After the Verdict. Let's join the judges.
Well, in this case, you went through 2 years of text messages back and forth. And I'll bet when you started looking through the text messages, you said to yourself, I'm going to piece this puzzle together and it's all going to come out for me right in black and white exactly what I should do. And it didn't quite
Yeah,
turn
or
out
I
that
wouldn't
way.
have spent the 4 hours looking at him, right?
Instead, you saw a sea of gray, and it wasn't really clear that this was a loan rather than a gift and an ongoing relationship where money was going back and forth, right?
Right. You, as you know, because you were a civil judge for so many years, it's, you know, when you have these situations where there's a relationship and there's money flowing back and forth, if you expect to get money flowing back and forth is what you expect in a relationship. Right. So if you expect to get paid, you should have some kind of indication that the person is going to pay you back.
Exactly. Well, God help me if you're keeping an accounting between us. I hope not. 'Cause God, I don't have one, and I'm afraid I'm going to be on the short end at some point. But they still apparently have affection for each other. They're still going to be friends. The door might still be open.
That's
I have no
great.
idea.
But, maybe they should keep the debts and the money going back and forth non-existent so that they can keep the friendship.
Right.
It's kind of ironic that a lawsuit doesn't ruin a friendship. Good for them.
It is pretty incredible. Ms. Payne said, hey, I gave all the money, I gave all the love, and all I got back was pain.
Yeah. That's right. And she's willing to open the door again.
I guess not that much.
I don't know.
Siobhan in Chicago wants to know, I'm a first-time landlord and my tenant moved out. What do I legally have to do to refresh the property before I re-rent it? There is no legal obligation to refresh property, but you have to make sure that it's habitable, that there are no safety or health concerns. If there are, you do have to fix it before re-renting.